Are you struggling to finish in the AFC 24? Then let me cook with this complete finishing tutorial. Now, if you haven't yet subscribed, what are you doing? I'm hitting you with tutorials day in, day out throughout the year of the AFC, so be sure to hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. Can we do it? Let's get into it. First up, the mistakes that you are making when you're finishing in EAFC 24. You see, when people are in the bots and they're attempting to get a shot off, the biggest mistake I see is their eyes lit up and they essentially want to get that shot off as soon as they see a glimpse of goal. This is a mistake because quite often there will be a player in a much better position when it comes to finishing in EAFC. A lot of the time, people will in general shoot when there is a defender in front of them or the keeper is in a good position. But if they so as to find an extra pass in the bots, then they won't have any trouble whatsoever getting into a much better position to get the shot off away from the defender's block and a shooting position where you will better convert the shot against the goalkeeper who is in a good position. The other mistake I see is when people are trying to finish in EAFC, they try and shoot when their body shape is facing in an opposite direction. When finishing, you need to face within a 90-degree angle to the goal. I always see people try and shoot with their back to the goal, and they also try and shoot when they're facing sideways to the goal. This is such a big mistake because when it comes to finishing, you need to face within the general direction of the goal to ensure the maximum power and the maximum accuracy. Now we move in to the desired post for EAFC. You see, in previous years, there is usually a post which is more desired that you want to shoot to. FIFA 22 was near post, FIFA 23 was far post. Lo and behold, come off the EAFC 24, the post that is more desired is the far post. But don't forget about the near post. Near post finishing is still very effective this year, and when you're in the specific sweet spot, which I'll get into later, you will be able to finish near post. But when finishing in the AFC, be sure to shoot far post the majority of the time. I now want to get into finesses outside the box. With finesses this year, they are super broken. And when it comes to finessing in the sweet spot outside the 18-yard box, which is around a 2-meter radius, and it just sits on the corner of the 18-yard box, you finesse in this area, it will go in the majority of the time. The power that you want to have the shot is around 2 or 3 bars, and you want to ensure that the player's body shape is facing within the far post direction. If you're in that position, you're facing the correct way, hit the finesse shot with 2 or 3 bars of power, and you'll have no trouble scoring from outside the box. I think it's also important to mention how good finesses are inside the box because they're super broken. If you look at the keeper's animation, the majority of the time they will just fall down on the ground or they will dive even the opposite direction. It's really sad to see, but we can take advantage of this when we're attacking. When you're in the box and you have an opportunity to shoot, finesse the shot rather than power it, because it will go in the majority of the time, whether it's either near post or far post. We then have the low driven shot. Now it's not like previous years where you'd have to, let's say, double tap the shoot button or hold L1 and R1. No. It's about the amount of power that you hold on the shot. To activate a low driven shot, it's under 40% of power. So if you're wanting to hit it low and hard past the keeper's dive, then be sure to hold under 40% of power and it will drive into the bottom corner. They are very broken this year, especially when near the keeper. I am going to have a finishing tutorial in one-on-one situations coming up, which I will mention this again, but what I will say is, if you're near a keeper and he's coming out towards you, just tap the shoot button slightly. it will slot under the keeper the majority of the time, and it's very, very overpowered this year in that specific situation. I now want to move in to time finishing. A lot of people don't bother learning time finishing because they either don't have enough time to put into the game or they get lazy. But what I will say is, if you can at least work on it a little bit to get it down pat, eventually, slowly but surely, you'll get to the point where you can time every shot. And that's where I want you at. You want to be timing pretty much every shot because it will increase the accuracy and it will increase the power of the shot. Now, time finishing is when you press the shoot button and you wait for the player's foot to rise up and connect with the ball, and as it connects to the ball, you press the shoot button once again. Now, if you time it right, it'll be a green shot. If you miss time, it'll be a red shot. And if you just miss it, it's a yellow shot. If you're too late, it'll actually be a white shot, and that's just a standard shot. Now, what I will say is, you guys need to make this second nature. Time finishing doesn't come from mentally telling yourself, oh, he's rising his foot up, okay, I'm gonna press shoot now. No. It's too quick for you to actually mentally process it. So pro players are always practicing time finishing at the start of the game so they can become second nature and hit a time shot every shot. It comes from practice and implement it into your game, forcing yourself to use time finishing. That's how you learn it, that's how you perfect it, and I recommend you doing it. Composure in the bots. Now, I wanted to make a tutorial on this because quite often, as I mentioned before, people get into the bots, their eyes light up, and they want to get a shot off as quick as possible. But what I want to say about that is, when it comes to finishing in the bots and staying composed, you want to try and get yourself into better positions. And the way you can do that is by spending a little bit more time on the ball rather than just shooting at first glance a goal. And a way to do this is to force yourself to spend around 1, 2 or 3 seconds extra on the ball with each player to create a better shooting opportunity. And this will force you to stay a bit more composed in the bots. It's how you practice it. You force yourself to spend longer on the ball in the bots rather than just shooting. This will allow you to practice getting into much better positions to shoot. And that's how players who are a lot better at the game than you are good at basically spending more time on the ball. So it's very important. Spend a few extra seconds on the ball and you'll get better and better at this technique. Moving into one-on-one keeper situations. Now, there are multiple ways that you can beat a keeper in one-on-one situations. But also, there is the finishing technique of just tapping the shoot button. Because as I said, this year, it's actually quite broken. If you just tap it, it will basically slide under the keeper's dive. And for some reason, it hasn't been patched yet. But if you're wanting to round the keeper, which I do recommend, because sometimes the keeper does save the shooting technique, and you can almost guarantee a goal if you round the keeper. A few techniques will allow you to do this. It's the ball roll and it's left stick dribbling. Now the ball roll's really good at rounding the keeper, but you do need to time it. You don't want to do it too early, otherwise the keeper will basically sweep it out of your feet. You don't want to do it too late because, well, the keeper will be there before you even perform the ball roll. You want to perform the ball roll when the keeper is just about to dive down. And you'll see the animation start to occur. That is when you want to hit the ball roll. And to perform the ball roll, you just hold the right analog stick to the side of where the player is facing. And the side that you point or hold the right stick will be the side that the player ball rolls it to. And when it comes to doing it, you need to wait for the keeper to dive and then perform it. Don't do it too late and don't do it too early. Now, when it comes to left stick dribbling, that is also a very effective way of rounding the keeper. When you are near the keeper, you can turn back with a chopping motion with the left stick, and this will allow you to basically force the keeper to dive down. And I have noticed this year. If you do this technique, the keepers will dive down like a sack of potatoes. And this will then allow you to have an open goal or an open shot opportunity. It's very effective for beating keepers this year, and I highly recommend you guys doing it in certain situations when you have a bit more time. And yeah, what I will say about this is it even teaches you more composure, because you're not just shooting when you're near the keeper, you're practicing your composure in the box, which falls in line with the previous segment of spending more time on the ball. I did want to do a standalone tutorial or segment on finding the extra pass. This is the most significant attacking technique that you should be learning as a beginner in EAFC 24. Always look for the extra pass, and if you want to force yourself to learn this technique, then force yourself to find one pass in the box every attack. This will teach you composure, but it will also teach you to look around. It will teach you to be less tunnel visioned, and it will teach you to look for better options in the box. Finding the extra pass allows you to find a player in a much better position, which will convert the shot in a high percentage, because at the end of the day, FIFA or EAFC 24 is a percentage game. We now want to move into finishing, and more specifically aiming at the correct post. When it does come to aiming, EA Sports have added a slight skill gap, and you will need to aim within the general direction of the far post. It's not like FIFA 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 where you could aim within a general direction, even the corner flag, and convert the shot. You do need to have a little bit of control on your aiming, and you should be aiming towards the post within that general direction. Now, if you want to practice aiming towards the post, start aiming to the keeper and then slightly rotating it to the side. This will allow you to line up with the goal and then slightly maneuver it to the side that you want to shoot. And it will ultimately allow you to practice aiming shots. I now want to move into chip shot finishing, and more specifically deconstructing or talking about whether they're actually worth it this year. I have spoken about rounding the keeper and essentially finding yourself in situations where you can convert the 100% goal after taking the ball around the keeper. I do want to say chip shots are for opportunities when the keeper is coming out at you, because once he comes out and rushes you, you can dink the keeper. But I will say it's not as worth it as previous years. Chip shots are not as useful this year. They're not as accurate, and a lot of the time you will overcook it. And if you undercook it, the keeper will just sweep it up. So, in my opinion, avoid chip shots when it comes to finishing, and rather round the keeper or tap the shoot button as he gets towards you. That will be more effective in finishing this year in EAFC. Moving into low driven finesse shots. Have you been in the box and you've hit a finesse shot and it's been a bit less of power compared to normal, and it's a low driven shot and it flies into the bottom corner? Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, is the low driven finesse shot, and it's quite broken this year. Keepers have a very hard time saving these, especially if you put under 40% bars of power when it comes to shooting, and you hold R1 or RB on Xbox. It will finesse to the bottom corner, which is very effective for finishing in EAFC. So, if you are looking at finessing, try the low driven, because it's useful this year and will convert the majority of the time. Now, moving into trivela shots. Trivelas are, yet again, very effective. Not as effective as last year or FIFA 22, but still very effective in EAFC. Whether that be a long shot trivela outside of the 18-yard box or inside the 18-yard box. The reason why I like this shot is because you can be in a body shape position which is not optimal for a regular power shot or finesse shot. And that's when you're facing directly to the goal and to the ball with the player. You can hold L2 or LT on Xbox and essentially press the shoot button. The player will drive it with the outside of his foot, and I will say they're quite effective this year. So, if you're looking at finishing and your body shape is not optimal for a power shot or a finesse shot, Try the trivela because it's another good finishing technique to add into your attacking arsenal, which will allow you to finish in tight scenarios. We now want to move into power up shots, and my god have I seen some bangers this year, especially outside the bots. But the biggest issue I see with power up shots is people's ability to aim them. I will say, they are super hard to aim, and it's something that you will need to 100% work on and practice. I do have a technique, however, in terms of power up shot aiming, which I will get into in the next segment. But to perform power shots, you need to hold in L1 and R1 at the same time and press the shoot button. The player will line up with the ball and lace it with extra power. You can even time these to make it even better shot. But what I will say is, if you're in a position where you have a bit of time, there's not much pressure on you, hit the power up shot and aim it towards the far post, specifically if you're outside the bots. It will fly in. Now, you will notice they are hard to aim when it comes to power up shots. That's why I wanted to add a segment on aiming them, because there is a specific technique and it's similar to what I was talking about before with finishing and aiming the correct post. You want to aim down the center of the goal where the keeper is and then slightly rotate the left stick to the side that you want to shoot. This will help you line up that shot, and then you will be able to hopefully lace it into the corner. I've noticed it's the best way to aim these this year, because if you do it just straight up, it can be harder for you to line up with the post that you desire. And with how manual these are, it's better for you to try and practice aiming them with this technique. I now want to get into a more advanced technique, but a technique that you guys should essentially always take into consideration when it comes to shooting and finishing, and that is angling your body. And there are a few techniques you can use, but one in particular is the ball roll. The ball roll is super effective for getting a better angle for the shot. And you know how we spoke of before, angling your body and getting the correct body shape? Well, the ball roll can help you position your player a lot better, and it also helps you get away from the defender's potential block. You can use this in the bots, but also outside the bots to get a better angle for the shot. The ball roll is my favorite skill move to do this because it's in tight to you, and it's a skill that doesn't, kick the ball out in front of you too far. It's one that you can revert to when in times of need for a better angle, and essentially you can get it away from the defender's reach. As I said before, to perform the ball roll, you just hold the right end of the stick to the side of where the player is facing, and they will ball roll it to that side. You take the ball into space and of course get this shot off. Last but not least, this isn't a skill move tutorial, but I do want to briefly talk about skill moves and how they can actually help you guys with finishing. As I've spoken in this tutorial, it is so essential that you guys get away from defenders' blocks and you get into better positions for the shot, because at the end of the day, finishing is a percentage game. Now, skill moves are great for this because it allows you to take the ball into space in a quick fashion. I'm not going to teach individual skill moves, but I will leave a tip for you as the last segment here. When performing skill moves in the bots to get a better position for a shot and to finish that goal, you want to look at where the space is. Always focus on the space and use a skill move that will take you into that space. By doing this, it will allow you to take the ball into that area, away from the defender's block, to get a better shooting opportunity. It's very, very important, and you guys should learn skill moves for this particular reason. Now, if you want to get personal one-on-one coaching with me, you can. The link is down below. In my opinion, it's better than spending money on FIFA points, because at the end of the day, a better team is not going to make you a better player. It's how you use that team. It's your skill and ability as well as mentality that will improve your game and get you better results, which will get you better rewards to get a better team. So check that out. The link is down below, but I'm out. Sayonara, au revoir, adios, salam, ciao. Goodbye.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then I'd really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button. And lastly, if you do want any pre-gaming fuel or supplement, then head over to atpscience.com, which is the first link in the description, and use the code DylanEtsATP at checkout to get yourself a discount. Not only is it the cheapest way to get supplements, but it helps me out a ton, guys, so thank you.